Owning She podcast. Shenavee, the personality that will outlast and surpass any podcast. No competition. Her standard is excellence. Lifestyle first class. Unity, love, and truth, her divine intention. So pull up a seat, rest your feet. Shena knows it's not complicated, just simply unique. Shena knows. Shena knows. Shena knows.
Hey, what's going on? And welcome back to another episode of Owning She, where we delve into those unpleasant yet necessary discussions. I'm your host, Shena LV. And Happy New Year, you guys. How y'all be? It is officially 2022, according to the Gregorian calendar anyway. I trust everybody's doing well. So let's chat for a minute. I know we celebrated 1 year on the air recently, and then it seemed like Shena just took off. I just went ghost. A whole lot had happened in my life all at one time. Parenting, of course. Then we moved to a new town, and I am just loving my new house. I fell in love with my house, and I just got comfortable. Then I lost my aunt, which was an occurrence that was bound to happen sooner or later. Then the later eventually came. Being a silent griever. So there's that. Let's see what else. The holidays happened, of course. I mean, a lot been going on with that. Everybody's been busy. Then there's stuff going on in the world. I won't get into that. And I've been writing my upcoming book. And I'm going to be honest, I just needed some rest. A bitch was tired. I was exhausted. Like, for a whole year and a half, I was pulling like 18-hour days straight, like with no break in between. I mean, I might get a day in between to sleep, maybe 4 hours, 5 hours, and then right back to it. Like, it was crazy. Then in the midst of all of that, I somehow contracted human fleas. Y'all thought I was going to say COVID. And they were like sucking the life out of me. Like, man, I don't know what was going on. I think I had to reevaluate my circle. I had the wrong kind of people around me. Like, I have a lot of the right kind of people around me, but the people that I really gravitated to personality wise, when it came down to business, they sucked. I didn't know what the fuck was going on or what they was doing. And it was just like, it's like babysitting, you know what I mean? It's like you adopt more grown kids, and then you got kids who don't want to listen and don't want to do shit the right way. Then they get mad because you are who you are and they are who they are. Moving right along. So anyway, I had to exterminate, I don't rock like that. During all that process, my IG got taken down at almost 5K. I have made another one. I'm not really doing anything with it right now, but if you want, you can follow me there at ShenaLV_. So ladies, who has mama issues? How many times have we seen strained mother and daughter relationships? That's what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about mothers who envy their daughters. It's one of the most unhealthiest things you can do to any child, especially a little girl. And that is what causes women to have trust issues, with other women. That's why it's so hard for women to befriend other women. We say it's at the hands of the man, but life and experience and history has shown us that women will do anything and let men get away with anything to prove the latter of that notion or concept, I guess. We blame men for everything, but then we turn around and accept the same shit that we blaming them for. But we never look back at our moms and our aunties and our grandparents, our grandmothers and sisters or what have you, who have shaped and formed us as well. Our first impression of a healthy female to female relationship begins at home, with mom. Yes, it is a mother's job to parent. It's our job to parent, but it's also our jobs as parents to encourage and instill a bond of trust and comfortability. A little girl should be able to talk to her mother about anything without the fear of judgment, or worse, my babies can come talk to me about whatever. So anyway, some may say this is taboo, but I don't give a damn. More than half of the women in the world are messed up behind their mothers. And we gonna talk about it. It doesn't always have to do with a man or your father not being there or whatever the case. We need to let that one go, y'all. It's out here. You know what I'm saying? That's a part of the situation, but it's not let's bring the full throttle to the forefront, shall we? So you may be wondering, okay, you're talking, Shena. So what does a strained mother and daughter relationship look like? Those of us who are in them or who have experienced them, we know what that looks like. And me being a purpose finder, it is my duty to tell you first and foremost what these signs are, what it is that you should be looking for. If you have ever experienced any of narcissism from your mother, competitiveness, unsupportive, you ever have a parent who downplays anything in your life, anything that makes you happy or brings you joy or peace, and they downplay it. Let's go back to the competitiveness. I live this life, okay? And you have to go back and forth with your mom for a reason that is not known to anyone but her, I suppose, because what do you have to compete with your child for, your daughter for? If anything, you are going to want her to have the best and be the best and look the best. And I think a lot of mothers try to live their lives through their children. And that's what caused the resentment and the upset and the disconnect right there, because you cannot make a child be what you want them to be. It is their choice. It is their life. They have to live it, right? You got the parents who will ensure the world feels about you the way, your mom does. Like if you're in a conversation or a group of people and you have that situation where somebody says something good about you and then your mom comes and say, I don't know why you feel like that, because this motherfucker this and this person does this and yada, yada, yada. Just trying to get people to feel about you the way she does, or purposely saying things to steal your joy. Gaslighting. Favoritism. You got those mothers who favor certain daughters or certain sons or certain, one child over the other. And like I said before, there are so many different things I can shoot out about this, but as a child and young adult, that is very damaging to the psyche. Even an older adult, it is still damaging to the psyche. So let's talk about envious mothers. Let me give you an example of what I was just speaking about. Let's say you go to your mother, the one who is supposed to protect you, love you, when you're already feeling bad and she makes it worse. This is a clear sign that your mother has some sort of issue. It's not always just you. The problem is her, but she's going to make it seem like it's you. A jealous mother will criticize your clothes. Have you heard it? I know I have. Like, what you got that on for? A jealous mother will tear down the thought of you ever having a successful relationship because she never had one. In this situation, you will hear things like, why you always with him? Why you always hanging out with him? Things like that. All you care about is being around him. You don't need a man. All you need is yourself. And the opposite, so that it cannot be successful. If it's working out for your daughter and you're happy for your daughter being in that successful relationship, leave it alone. What does it have to do with you to come in and say something that nobody's even asked your opinion about? It's crazy. Then you have a jealous mother, like I said earlier, who would downplay your successes or come off, very unconcerned when you give her any form of good news. And I'm gonna just put it out there. My own mother told me that she would ruin my life because I corrected her on how she speaks to me and her grandchildren. A jealous mother feels like because they are your mother, you just have to take the abuse, and you don't. You could be, I don't care how old you are, let's put it like that. Your mother does not have the right to speak to you any way she chooses. But yeah, my own mother told me this. And only thing I could do is just laugh and keep it pushing, because it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why would you? Something is wrong. That is a sickness. Something is wrong mentally. You know what I mean? And a jealous mother will always talk about you behind your back, like I said earlier, to anybody, just to defer the good outlook someone may have on you to a bad outlook. And that's just plain old trifling. Like, come on now. A jealous mother, let's say, I'm trying to shoot off examples here or situations here. She will never ask about you, but expect you to be overly concerned with her needs. And the moment you don't give that back, you are somehow not a good child, you're the worst child. And then all the number of things I just mentioned begin to happen because your mother is gaslighting you. This spells out to me, I can treat my children any way I choose to, but if they treat me the same way, I am allowed, because I birthed them, to tell them they are wrong, and I don't owe them an apology for why they feel the way they feel about what I have said and done to them. That is gaslighting. That is control. That is high narcissism. Something is wrong there. There is a superiority complex that's going on that doesn't even need to be in place. You have a mother who just overreacts about everything, just a straight up drama queen. No matter what, you should say something small and they turn it into a mountain hill, and then all her friends and family or whatever know about it. And it's too much. It's too much. It's too much. But this is what causes women to be so messed up in the head with other women. It starts at home. It starts at home. Mothers can say some real fucked up shit to their daughters. And like I said, because they your mama, they think it's okay, and it's not okay. And I want to say this, that we as women, as daughters and as women, have been conditioned and shamed to the point where we don't want to put our mothers on Front Street. We don't want to call them out on the things that have indeed shaped us. And I'm here to tell you that it is okay to tell your mother how you feel. Listen to me. It is okay to tell your mammy how she making you feel. Plain and simple. It is your right to ask questions. It is your right to lay things out on the table and attempt to clear the air. If they don't get cleared, you know where you stand, you move on. But you have that right, and we as their daughters are just so afraid because we don't want to hurt mom's feelings or rehash the past. But how can any of us move forward, mom or daughter, without doing just that simple thing of having a conversation, right? No matter how uncomfortable the interaction may be, it has to be talked about some way, shape, form, or fashion. Like I say, no matter the outcome, you keep moving forward. You'll understand where you stand, but you have to first and foremost put that attempt out there to say, hey, you know what? I need answers to this. You got a lot of children out here who are parenting parents. Real shit. We've talked about all of that, but what does a healthy relationship look like? Guidance, support, love, comfort. She would be present. She will be that friend when you need a friend. Sometimes you just need a friend. Sometimes you don't need your parent to parent. You just need a friend. And when a lot of these older school parents or just parents in general come from messed up backgrounds themselves, they can only do the best that they can. But we are in a time and season right now in life where there is so much going on, so much turmoil and chaos and pain in the world and misunderstanding, that things need to be talked about. We are not putting up with abuse from anybody. I don't care if it is your mama, because I'm not doing it. I don't put up with abuse. So when things are said to me that I don't like from my parent, from my mother, I correct her right then and there. We may go back and forth, but I'm letting you know that you are not allowed to speak to me this way, period. And I don't care how it makes you feel. You don't give a damn how it makes me feel. So we want to look for those healthy signs, or be those healthy signs to our daughters, even us as parents now who have daughters, who have teenagers in the house. And, you see a part of yourself that you wish you were, right? And you start picking at it. Something is seriously wrong with you. And that there alone shows you that this person comes from an unhealthy dynamic themselves. So we want to encourage our kids. We want to encourage little girls to be respectful, to be classy, to be educated, to stand firm on what it is they believe in. They need their mothers. So that way, when they go out into the world, they can understand that they can trust other women. But if your own mother is constantly making you feel a certain type of way, you build that. You kind of don't trust your mother, because your mother, now let's put it like this. Now you feel like, I can't trust my mother with my feelings. I can't trust my mother with my thoughts. I can't trust my mother with this little piece of information. They're going to go out and talk to somebody older in the street, or a friend, a street star raising them, or they go to a friend's house where their mother is healthy, right? Then your mom get mad at that because the other mama is telling your child right. I mean, I'm telling y'all, this is a real thing. During my break, I have been doing a lot of research and socializing and being out with people and, hitting the pavement. Social media is all well and good, but at the end of the day, you got to get up in people's face to make shit work. You understand what I'm saying? And when I was out, I just started seeing a lot of this and reading a lot of this about how these situations occur between mothers and daughters. And this is why women are so upset at other women. It's not your father. Your mother has programmed you to believe it was your daddy's fault, but it's her fault. And it's your grandmammy's fault, and your auntie and your sister and everybody else. It's their fault. Because women have somehow got into their minds that I can do wrong no matter what, and nobody should have anything to say about it because I'm a female. And that is the exact reason why there are so many failed relationships. There are so many tainted child and mother relationships. Even if the father was bad to the mother, most time the kids have a great relationship with the father because the mother doesn't want to speak about her downfalls with that man and the reason why they never worked out. Come on, y'all, let's talk about this. We want to put it on the men all the time, but y'all need to turn a look at y'all fucked up mamas. And I'm just telling you the truth. All that shit they taught you and tell you is bullshit. It's self-absorbed, it's honorary, and it's very selfish. Okay? Now, if you got a good mama, this ain't got nothing to do with you. If it don't apply, let it fly. But for those of you who understand what I'm saying, you got to call your mama out sometime and say, hey, man, what's going on? She done put you out in the world to not trust nobody. Now you ain't got no friends. You don't know how to have a good relationship with another woman. You don't know how to have a good relationship with your with your daughter. You don't know how to have a good work relationship because you looking for a woman to always snag you or say something fucked up to you when it started at home. It was your mother that made you feel bad about that outfit. It was your mother that told you wasn't no man gonna love you or you didn't need one. It was your mother that told you had to be this way and dress this certain way and put all that pressure on you as a child. And then when you turned 18, she put you out the motherfucking house and told you to figure it out. And here you are roaming the world, blaming your father or some nigga or some man. And it was your mammy the whole time. I'm just keeping it real. So anyway, regardless, let me say this of where the pain stems from for her, your mother, that is. How do we get around this? Okay, number one, like I said, you think because it's your mother, you have to deal with it, you have to go around because you don't want to hurt mama feelings because now you gonna feel bad because your mama wants your company. But what happens when you give your mom your company? You are verbally abused and mentally and emotionally abused by these snide remarks that they've been saying since the day you were born. You don't have to put up with that. You can go on about your way. Number one, you don't owe it to your mother to be in her life every single moment of the day. You don't owe it to your mother to tell her everything about your life. It is your life. You have to live it. Your mama did her job. You grown now. You have to figure out your own way. And if your mother is the pleat or the crinkle into the path that you are trying to walk, guess what? You have to love mama from a distance. I'm just saying. Even if you shoot her a text, hey, I love you, just thinking about you, but I'm gonna have to go this way because around you, I'm unhealthy. I don't like the person I am when I'm around you. I don't like how I feel when I'm around you. You have the right to do that and say that and be that. You don't owe it to your mother to accept any form of abuse from them. You don't. It is not her right to debilitate you and make you feel less than a person. A mother who loves you is going to make you feel mighty and strong and powerful and give you that encouragement to take on the world and know when you are down and don't laugh at your pain and, and praise your successes and even praise your downfalls because she know you can do it the next time. I'm just saying a mother doesn't have the right to dictate your life, how you should love or how you should live. It's your life. Okay. She doesn't have the right to tell you how to parent. She doesn't. So it's time to let it go, ladies. Time to let it go and start living the life that was meant for us to live. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you how to do that. So for those of you who don't know where letting it go begins, it begins with you and forgiveness. Like I say, my mother wasn't the best. A lot of mothers wasn't the best. My mother wasn't the worst either. Let me put it that way, because I know some women out here are going through way worse. But You have to forgive a person for what they done to you, not for them, but for you. Because if you hold on to that pain and that feeling of just anger toward them, you're not going to heal in life. So every move you make from here on, you're going to be trying to prove to yourself or to everybody else out of that anger. And that's not a healthy way to go about life. Okay. You have to say to yourself, this is what happened. This is the situation. I choose not to be defined by it, and I'm moving on. This is what I want for myself. This is what I want for my children and my life, and this is how I'm going to live. Yes, it hurts me because it's my mother, but it's hurting me more to stay around. And right now, I have to be present for my own family. So what you can do is, before calling it, a love from distance relationship, try to communicate. Communicate and loving properly isn't everybody's strong suit, but you can try. You can try and sit down and have a conversation with your mother about it, like two grown women, and ask all the things you've been wanting to ask. And if she receives you and opens up, then great. If not, like I said, you know where you stand. If she becomes dismissive and start going all crazy or saying the very things to you that you already have a problem with, then you have to let it go. You have to keep a journal to yourself and write down all the things that you like about yourself every day. All the things that you heard as a child that made you feel bad from your mother. You have to write those things down. You have to talk about those things with yourself. This is your personal journals between you and you. You talk to yourself. You write down the things that pain you, and then you write down the things that you overcome from on the other side of that paper. You write down what you want out of life, what you have achieved in life, what you have achieved since you have broken this cycle of toxicity from your parents or, whoever your guardian was. You have to learn to praise yourself through your pain in order to understand that is number one, it is not your fault. You have to forgive them. This is how you begin to heal. Not just mothers, but anybody. You have to forgive people for you and move on. That's all you can do. You can't sit around and play the blame game all your life, because that's not going to breed anything but more anger and more resentment. And, you're going to stay in a space in your life and you're not going to grow or flourish that way because you're still stuck on something that you think defines you, and it doesn't. You want to seek qualified therapy if you have to, and you can't heal in the same place that broke you. We know how the saying goes. You can't heal in the same place that broke you. Okay, then you have to also understand that you are an adult now, and you are the only person who can change this situation for yourself. For me, I chose not to identify as a victim any longer. I can't say it was all bad, because if it has taught me anything, it has taught me to not take shit off of anyone, to stand on my own 2 feet and mean what I say and say what I mean. And I refuse to be on the other end of anyone's bullshit. And I don't care who the fuck they are. And you have to adopt that same mind frame. If what you saying to me is not constructive and it's not for my benefit, get gone and get up out my face and go find something safe to do. That's all I can tell you. Anytime that feeling of lovelessness comes and we start to hear the narcissistic voices of our mothers or guardians or whoever raised us telling us that we're not good enough, turn that off and do things that makes us happy so that we can start living a fulfilling life. Go on a walk, do something outside of your norm. Find out what it is that you like to do. You have to keep your mind on something positive and constructive and something other than your trauma. Otherwise, you won't graduate from it. I have an excerpt here by my beautiful assistant. She writes these for me, and I want to share this with you guys. The jealous are troublesome to others, but a torment to themselves. That is a statement by William Penn. Imagine having a child, loving that child throughout the pregnancy and childhood, and helping them strive to be just as great as you are, or even better, and watching them evolve into the person you always wanted them to be. Now imagine that same scenario, except you are in a competition with them. You have negative feelings toward their accomplishments, and you covet what they have earned. Seems hard to picture, huh? Unfortunately, This situation is one that in fact occurs more than we like to admit. The bond between a mother and daughter is one like no other. The 9-month physical connection, the growth, the love, the lessons, the shared life, like many relationships, there are issues. But what happens when the issues have the ability to ruin such an important relationship? What happens when that issue, that slithering through is the green monster of jealousy? A normal mother is typically proud of their child. They want their daughter to do and even be better than they have ever done in their lives themselves. They are encouraging and find any opportunity to praise their children. But on the other end, though, there is a narcissistic or self-centered mother who looks at their daughter as competition, who portrays envious traits, who wants their daughters to do just well enough in life that as long as it ain't better than them. What could possibly cause a parent to feel such a negative emotion towards a child that they themselves created? Whatever the cause, we can conclude that there are many negative implications. There are mental, physical, and emotional impacts. This type of issue could cause developmental delays, feelings of being unloved or disliked, or inability to maintain relationships. The terrible thoughts of never being good enough, the need to please and keep others happy, those insecurities I'm talking about, and so on and so forth. Relationships between a child and a parent can be complicated, but these things should not be more complex due to a discontentment. Jealousy is indeed a trouble for many other people, but those in which it inhabits suffers the most. And that is just pretty much like a summary of what we've talked about this whole episode. But as I say, we are in a season of uncovering a lot of old tales that has kept us bound for too long. So we are saying no more to abuse. You get to decide how you want to live from this day forward. So hey, be good to you on purpose. That's our show for tonight. Until next time. You've just listened to another episode of Owning She with Shena LV. Check your favorite podcast platforms for our past episodes and be sure to subscribe for new ones. Want to be a guest on the show? Visit www.shenalv.com/contact. And remember to always own she.